there, good evening, late evening, and welcome back to Celtic World Order podcast. As always, I'm Steve O'Matt, and you can see I'm joined from the middle of the North Sea wearing an absolutely topper of a Celtic World Order t-shirt there. That is, of course, my bearded brother, Paddy Boy, and it says it right, CWFNO, you know where it's at, and this is what we're here to talk about. But a late one, out of nowhere, but you know what, why not? Let's take advantage, because there's a big game tomorrow, in case you didn't know. So, what better time to talk about it, Paddy, than right now?
Exactly. I'm out here, obviously, middle of the North Sea, but my gaffer said to me early yesterday, he says, listen, get the place up to scratch, let's get everything done, and we can take some time off and we can watch it. So, been grafting my wee pan in if I get everything sorted. So, yeah, we're ready, we're good. I'm going to be surrounded by them. So
By Rangers fans, deep behind enemy lines, you could say.
Deep behind
Paddy, do you know
enemy
what? You often say shy boys don't get speeches and lazy bastards don't get awards. So fair play to you for putting in the effort.
Exactly.
Fair play for putting in the effort.
So yes, in, so I'm ready to watch it. Yeah.
Good man. I like that. See, commitment to the cause. Commitment to the cause, and that's what it's all about, being a Celtic fan. But anyway, listen, let's crack on. Let's get down to business. I know you're up first thing in the morning as part of that reward. I also know you're on limited time, and also know you're on that shitty out there in the middle of the North Sea Wi-Fi. So let's take advantage whilst we can. So as we always say here, let's get down to business. But before we do, you know the score by now. The channel has been blown up lately. We really, really appreciate it. We are well over 2,200 subscribers now. We want to get to that golden 3K. That's the next fucking big milestone, but the only way we can do that is by you guys out there helping us. And guess what? It costs you nothing to do that. Hit the subscribe if you've not done it already. Get the big thumbs up if you like it. Share it, tell people, get some eyeballs. And if you want to help the channel, you can. Completely optional. Member section helps put it all together. Equipment, platform fees, you know it. That's the score by now. And of course, elsewhere, X CW Pod 1888, Instagram, Paddy's famous TikTok, Blue Sky, Spotify. You know it by now. Support Celtic World Order. So, Paddy, there's a lot to talk about. Well, there is a lot to talk about, and there's not at the same time, isn't it? Because there's a lot of rumours, there's a lot of things, and of course, there's the big whoa, that exciting Europa League draw. So let's just jump straight into that, because we've not been on, we've not talked about it, we've not reacted to it. Yeah. We all know, listen, it's not exactly what we wanted, it's not the big excitement that we were hoping for. The draw's out, so let's have a wee look at it. We know who we're playing home, we know who we're playing away, so on and so forth. And I want to know what you think, big man, about this, because I know that you were a guy that was bitterly disappointed, to quote certain Mr. Tavernier, about getting into it. But there we go. We kick it off. Red Star, then Braga, Sturm Graz, which is an interesting one, of course. Midtjylland, who we know well. Feyenoord, who we know well. Roma's the big one there. That's the big one.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we've got Bologna and Utrecht, the return of Barkas. Mm-hmm. And what's most interesting, Paddy, about this draw is the fact that we've drawn three teams that Rangers are playing as well. So let the comparisons begin. What's your thoughts on it, mate?
Listen, there's a few tasty ones in there, a few ones that you can chew over. Even Braga is a decent one, but obviously Roma jumps out. That's the biggie. Even Feyenoord away, I think that'll be an incredible one for the fans to go to. Bologna, I think, could be a slippy one. But I reckon we've got enough in the tank. I'd like to think we have.
Mate, the tank's empty after Kyra.
I know. But also, you'd like to think you've got enough there to do something against this mob, against these kind of teams. You spoke about, obviously, the turn of Barkas as well. The dinosaur, like T-Rex arms there, do you know what I mean?
Mate, he's either going to be prime Buffon, or he's going to get some sort of grainy, sketchy PTSD images of that COVID season, isn't it? So it's you know it's going to go one way or another.
I've seen somebody as well comment on something, and it was talking about Barkas, and says, I thought he was a hologram. And mate, it tickled me, do you know what I mean? I was laughing.
I've heard that one. I've heard pom-tom hands, I've heard T-Rex arms, I've heard hologram Barkas, I've heard them all. It's a good part, I like that.
That was brilliant. I thought he was a hologram, I thought that was a cracker. But listen, there's a lot of tasty ones in there. You'd expect kind of Sturm Graz and Red Star and stuff to kind of take care of themselves. The others, like I said, a few kind of tasty ones in there. Roma at home has got everything there. That could be an absolute cracker. I've even got the Roma top. I bought it because it was a belter. I think you did as well, didn't you? It's one of the ones. I don't know if I'll need to put that in the bin if they beat us.
By the way, do you know that's the thing is like Roma's going to be tasty. Let's be honest. Roma's going to be tasty on the field. Roma's going to be tasty, unfortunately, probably off the field and all. You know, let's not kid ourselves on here. But out of all the games, let's get real here. Roma's the most attractive one, isn't it? It's the most sort of Champions League feel draw that's in there. We've seen a wee bit of Feyenoord, interesting. And you know what? It's hard because see if I see that draw now, and this will always come, here comes the comparisons. Because yes, you look at the Rangers draw and it's far more favourable, of course it is. It's more favourable than ours, I think, in my opinion. But, and this is the big thing, mate, see if we get drawn that last year, right? You blah, aye, straight through. Let's not kid ourselves on. Let's not allow Kyra Almaty and the shyness that was that to blur our vision. Now, of course, now we look at it and we think to ourselves, listen, we need some extra bodies because any game could be a bloody banana skin. But let's assume we get ourselves up to speed and we've got what we need. Aside from Roma, I mean, come on, seriously. I'm not saying we're going to win them all because that would be stupidity.
Nah.
But if we can't qualify out of those matches, then like I said with Cara Almaty, we deserve nothing, mate.
Yeah. I reckon we take 13 points for that group. And I think that'll be enough to put us through as well. I think that's me being generous. I think 13 points is an easy ask.
Is there anything there that really concern you?
Feyenoord and Roma are the two. They're the two that I think if we get anything out of them, they'll be bonuses. But like you said, last year going into the games, I'd have been like, nah, bring them on. I think that Roma at Parkhead, like you say, Steve, has got the potential to be up there with one of the greats. If we do a job on them, we've done an Italian job before, just look at the Lazio game. I was lucky enough to be there with the family. That was brilliant. That was such a great occasion. This one, again, I just hope it's we turn up and we do a job. We know what Celtic Park's like on these European nights, and all the fans can get behind the team again. And yes, Kyra was a massive kick in the teeth. It got me. It really did, mate. But I think that we've started to bring in players now. Obviously, we brought in Barakwisha and we brought in Sarachi, and there's links with a few others. So we'll see how they kind of pan out. We do need more. We still need to add to this squad. There's possibly outgoings and possibly more incomings. But we need to get that done sooner rather than later.
Well, Paddy, let's talk about that because I've been on here. I've jumped on. I jumped on after the horrendousness that was Kyra, and I just want to say thanks to everybody that came on those past few videos because I know it was tough times, and that's the thing, you know. It's to paraphrase of Tommy Burns, we're here and we're always here, thick and thin. You know, win, lose or draw. We come on as Celtic fans and we share our misery, our successes or whatever it is. And as we as a Celtic podcast, a platform, whatever you want to call it, we sometimes have to come on and it's tough. So it's, you know, it's heartwarming to see there's so many people wanting to actually get involved, and whether it's to share misery or just give opinions, either way, as we say a million times over, you guys literally are the lifeblood of this channel. So we really, really appreciate that. As we say, the spike in the past sort of 7 days has been phenomenal. So thanks for that. But Paddy, yes, and there's a couple of things that have been coming in here, and I just want to talk about it, right? The transfer window, I came on, I sampled the information on Junetke, who was linked with us from the Swedish team, Hamburg, Hamburg, what am I talking about? Harmby, and also came on and had a look at Kasper Dolberg of not Utrecht, I'm bloody mix my words here, Anderlecht.
Yeah.
Aside from the two that you mentioned, and what I said at the time was, obviously, they signed regardless. We seen the manager, and he was asked, and he says, will this change your budget? Do you know what your budget is? And quite frankly, it was embarrassing because he has basically went no, and no to all those questions. Now, it appears that we could have signed those guys regardless because they're coming in. We've seen them in the kits. It was funny because we, brought out Barakwisha. Sarashi was running about in the training kit and we didn't release him earlier on the day. It's just tin pots. It's embarrassing, let's be honest. they look as if they're going to be eligible coming in. But where are you at with this situation? Was because throughout the course of this, we have been sitting here criticising this board, criticising this club, criticising the way that we go about business. And I think the Idah, mate, let's just, first I'll get your thoughts on what you think of the Idah departure, so on and so forth. But he's allowed to get down there.
Yeah.
He's allowed to travel. He does a medical. He agrees terms. He agrees a contract. The club agree a contract. And by my understanding, he has done his welcome to video, the sit down with their equivalent of McCulloch or whoever it is. And then, big man, get up the road. It's not happening. No, they know. Why? Because Celtic haven't got someone in. Now, this isn't us stirring up stuff or rumour and innuendo. This is actual factoid fact. And the manager comes out and he's asked about the situation, and he basically says, "Nah, we can't allow players to go without having a replacement." Which, listen, I fully support and I endorse and I'm behind that. I agree, because regardless of us coming on here and maybe tearing strips off of Idah and saying he's not the standard, he's this, that, and the next thing, he's still a option, whether he's on top form or he's, mad as a bag of frogs and you don't know what you're going to get. He's still an option and you still need something there. The Swansea manager then gets asked today and he goes, "Don't know, by the way, you need to go and speak to Celtic about that." I mean, Paddy, we're being made to look like an absolute clown, sure we know, by every club.
And it's not the first time, like you say, go ahead Eagles as well. Their director coming out and talking made us look absolutely stupid as well. I heard another option as well. It was Idah when they put the contract in front of him, he missed it and signed the table. Yeah, we can joke, we can laugh about it all and things like that, but at the end of the day, Brendan's right, you can't let him go if you don't have a replacement. It's as simple as that. Where we're in the market to bring somebody in and then they've went somewhere else, or has something been kind of canned off there. I don't really know what's happened. Obviously the Dolberg thing was kind of hanging over. That's one I was quite excited about, but seems to be all gone. Obviously we were linked with Majowski previously, we'll get into that as well, we'll talk a wee bit about that, but I just think it's a very strange one. Like you said, Steve, he's been down there, he's done all his video and he's been sitting there with the full kit and stuff on probably, and been ready to be unveiled and been told to get back up the road. Obviously kind of embarrassing for him as well, probably.
Yeah. I mean, Paddy, listen, we're here, obviously, this is just a wee pop-up show. I'll be on tomorrow morning, we'll talk about the squad, we'll talk about the team when it gets released. Not. This is really a general wee catch-up about the tail end of the week here. We'll talk a wee bit about tomorrow as well, but yeah, the big thing that concerns me is it says, we've done our board show, we've spoke numerous times about the transfer policy and things like that. Nothing seems to be changing. Now, what did you make of Brendan Rodgers' comments today, right? I put out a wee message in our group chat and I quite frankly says, these comments are absolutely embarrassing for the manager, right? That's just my take on it. Let me know what you guys think. Now, I agree with what he's saying in terms of you can't let people go if there's not somebody coming in. Absolutely. Listen, that's part and parcel of the job, because how many times have we let people go, particularly at the 11th hour, and we've never brought somebody in? It happens over, right? God, it even happens for the likes of letting Kyogo go or letting Jackie Marcus go, never truly filling those voids and filling those gaps, right? We've done it. So you can't trust them in that, and I appreciate Brendan saying that. But he's then kind of like flipped and flopped. We've heard them saying about how I can't magic players up. Maybe I'm not getting my message through. But the day he essentially sits down and the words he says are, the board bleed for the club. They want the best for the board. Paddy, what's going on here? Because he just sounds like an absolute board apologist that's rolling over and getting his belly tickled. I mean, what is it, Brendan? Tell us the fucking truth. Excuse my French. Tell us the truth here, mate. You're either happy or you're no happy. You're either rebelling, you're either ruffling feathers and wanting to push us on, or you're doing as your tail. What is it, Paddy? Because I'm honestly, I'm growing tired of the pish that's coming out of Brendan's mouth at the moment.
Yeah, it was. It seemed a bit frustrating. You just kind of wonder what's going on behind the scenes. Has he had another one of those meetings? Has he been pulled in into his arse spell? Quite possibly. Yeah, listen, it was patronised. It was one of the interviews where he kind of nailed it there. Steve, a board apologist. He was kind of out and he's giving it, oh yeah, they are doing a great job. They are Celtic fans, blah blah. Yes, we know that. We know what they are, but What we need is for the manager to come out and go, listen, we're on the same boat here. We want what you want. And the board want that as well. And have transparency, have a bit of something about you. Do you know what I mean? We've always spoke about this, how Celtic are so bad at communicating with their fan base. We spoke about Paul Taylor and stuff. And it's really hard for somebody like him. Like, he should be in a team of 30 people. Do you know what I mean? So we need more liaison with the club and with the hierarchy at the club, because as it stands at the minute, they're calling for the board's head. And listen, fair play, I'm calling for it as well. I want something to happen here. I need change. Celtic need to change. We need to get this out there, because you look at the other side of Glasgow and they've not got the finances that we have, but they're certainly throwing the money about and they're doing things.
Paddy, I've brought up, I just wanted to look at it for here. Again, the two comments that triggered people, cut that one. Triggered. Upset, annoyed, whatever term you want to put on it. They bleed for the club. Everyone is connected. I'm sorry to sound like an absolute idiot. I'm sorry to sound like, and again, excuse my language because it's colourful language. Excuse my fucking French here, right? Pull the fucking other one, mate. Everyone is connected. If everyone's connected, why are you telling people in a press conference that you haven't got a clue what your budget is? Why are you telling people that you don't know if your budget is more if we qualify or if we don't qualify for the Champions League? Why are you turning round and saying, but we can't sell anybody unless we get somebody in? Who's allowing people to get down there? I'm sorry, I don't know about you, Paddy, but connected and everybody's singing for the same hymn sheet. You could have fucking fooled me.
He's sent a striker away, don't he?
It's got faulty towers, you may as well play the fucking Benny Hill tune, because it's all over the place, mate.
Yeah. No, as it's like I said, there just seems to be no cohesion there. There's nothing, no stability. It's as if there's just they're passing chips in there. They're not talking to each other. It seems as if there's no communication even for that level. And listen, as fans, then what chance have we got? We got knocked out of the Champions League, and then they bring in two players. Do you know what I mean? They bring in Barakwisha and Sarachi and go, oh, there you go, that's a sweetener for them. That'll keep the fans happy. Do you know what? Yes, we're happy to get signings in, but we're not delighted at the way things are going.
No, we can't be. And this is the thing, and it begs the questions I say is, Sarachi and Barakwisha, they come in regardless, right? They come in regardless.
Yeah.
They're clearly guys. We know Barakwisha was something that we'd explored for the best bit of a season and a half, right?
Oh, easy.
We then revisit it, and we have to apparently send over somebody to speak to his entourage, whatever the hell that means. But the facts are, why didn't he do I think that having Sarachi on the bench or having Barakwisha would have transformed it? We have suddenly scudded Kyra Hammond through. Well, it's ifs, buts, maybes. Could have been, should have. Who knows? Unknown, right? But what you've had is you've given yourself a better quantity and a better chance to do something. Because when you look at the Kyrat game and you look at the fact that we've got Donovan on the pitch, we've got Murray on the pitch, we've got Tierney off the pitch because he can't finish a game, right? And we leave guys on the bench, right, who are attacking players that are a wee bit more attack-minded. You could have brought on. Why do we do it? We'll do it because the guys that shouldn't really be there or that are there but aren't up to standard or aren't quite fit, and I'm saying it, the likes of your Tierneys, they can't finish a game. There's no enough quality to bring them on, so we have to bring on a defender. We have to bring somebody on to replace them rather than an attacking option to go for the game. And see, by the time the game's spent is over, you've brought on too many, back of the field players.
Yeah.
You've not been able to bring on the front forward players because the guys at the back, the legs are dying. I'm looking at you, Ralston, I'm looking at you, Tierney, so on and so forth. This is the problem we've got. Now, would it have made a difference? Who knows? But if you try to tell me those guys couldn't have been in the door for those two fixtures because they were going to sign anyway to appear.
Yeah.
This is the problem we've got, mate.
That's it, and listen, it's frustrating. It's one of the things we see it so many years. We've spoken about it on here, the copy and paste thing from years ago with transfer window and whatever else. You look back at last season, season before, blah blah, all the way right through to obviously Don Mackay being in was the one that changed. He allowed us to make transfers pretty early in the window. But you just look at it, mate, and it's frustrating as fans, but we've got to now just take it in the chin. Hopefully we bring in more. We do need another striker. hopefully we get somebody of a decent standard.
I mean, Paddy, sorry to jump in there and cut in, right? I'm just going to kick back in that, right? I don't do it often, Ibra. And I hear what you're saying. And big, John's saying, night before a huge game, listen, be positive, win, lose or draw. They're chasing, it's by how much. I get it. I do. And we'll move on to some positives. Of course we will. But, see this, do we have to take it in the chin? Because the frustrations are grown, Paddy, right? And I just think that between the Briam situation, it's an absolute embarrassment. We then look at Junecki, right, from Harnby. No disrespect to him, I profiled him. I don't know what they're seeing in this guy, right? Stats-wise, he looks like a cheap option. Calvin Stengs goes to Pisa because he wants a better standard. He doesn't get Champions League, he doesn't get European football, but what he gets is a heavy wage and he gets a higher quality league. That's it, right? Urasetter moves on. It just seems that anything that we seem to be gripping at slips out our grip rapidly.
Yeah.
Should we have to take it on the chin? We've got two guys, yes, of decent enough quality. Let me remember, Sarashi, I think great option, left, right, on the wing-back positions, right? But this a guy who's played like 60 minutes at FITBA. Now, I think he's got the standard, he's got the ability, he's got the mindset, but he's played about 60 minutes at FITBA, right? So, again, you try to tell me you couldn't get him in earlier. Get him prepped, get him ready if that was somebody you're interested in. Balakwisha, could you get him in? This is where my frustrations lie. Should we have to take it on the chin, Paddy? Or do we just take it on the chin because we've been conditioned to take it on the chin?
I agree there, we are conditioned to do it. So that quite possibly might be where it's all coming from. And again, you look across the city and what they're doing, and that kind of that gets to me a little bit when you see them doing all the business, and then obviously the Go Ahead Eagles director coming out on his X page and saying, "Oh, Celtic should be more like them and do business like them." Because we have messed about with previous signings. These guys have been, like you say, Balakwisha's been like this for a year and a half. We messed about with price and whatever else and pulled out the biscuit tin again, didn't we? Just scraping the bottom of the barrel, trying to bring them in. The other lad, Sarachi, like you say, Steve, who's played like 50, 60 minutes of football since last year. Again, is this one that you could have brought in, give him a pre-season, have a look at him and see that, yeah, he's one that we're going to be looking at. Again, players that we've been linked with, you kind of look at these, and Vardy was one of them, and we were like, yeah, listen, Vardy would do a job, blah, blah, excellent. Again, Vardy was linked with across the city, and apparently he was away in at Murray Park.
Cremonese. That's what he's going to. That's what he's saying.
That's fine. But then you look at Majowski. Let's talk about that. We were looking at Majowski. When he was at Aberdeen, we offered Aberdeen $5 million for him, apparently. And Aberdeen said no.
Paddy, good segue in. And listen, hold with us because we'll get to we'll get to the Celtic, we'll get to the positive stuff, we'll get to the lineup, we'll get to that good stuff you want, right? But here's a point. I have fired this out here constantly, right? Now, I keep getting thrown back, as we do, because this is the nature. See me do these things that we're doing. We put our opinions out there, we put our big fizzog out there, and we say it loud, we say it proud, we tell it as it is, right? Sometimes we're wrong, often we're wrong. More often than not, if we call something and it's negative about Celtic, we want to be proven wrong. We always want to be proven wrong. We always want every guy who puts this shirt on to ram it down our stupid throats and say, you're just two idiots on the telly talking about Celtic, right? We love that. That's what we want. But I come back to transfer policy. We look at our board show. We look at one of the first videos we've done, the Smoke and Mirrors one, right? One of the first videos we've done, we've always come out there and spoke the truth. Our truth, at least. Now, we're not, professing to be in the know. We speak what is our truth, and we invite you to tell us your truth, and that's what it is. But we've says that see no matter what you think of whether Rangers players are going to be shite or all terrible or a couple of superstars in there or indifferent, the one thing that you cannot deny is that they back, rightly or wrongly, every single manager to bring the door, right? It might be blind faith, it might be throwing loads of shit at the ball and hoping something sticks, of course. But regardless of the situation, regardless of who it is, they allow their manager to identify players and to the best of their abilities, financial ability to allow, they go and get them, right? They've spent 22, 23 million quid on players at the moment, right? They've sold Idah, man, whether you believe he's 10 million or you don't, it's irrelevant. They're probably going to sell Rascan as well, regardless of how much that costs. I can guarantee you every single penny that they bring in will go straight into players. Now, could it be a foolish move, trusting a guy who the fans are baying for his blood and want out the door? Quite possibly. However, some of those guys that are coming in, you can't deny that if they do get rid of him and they get in a bit more of a astute, sound manager that knows what he's doing, they could go on and do all right. My point lies that it's not about the quality, it's not about saying that they're going to be good, bad, and different. It's about the principle of backing your manager at the earliest possible junction. And there's the point again. They sell like money, boom, have Miovski.
Yeah.
Now, I've had on and off today with people talking about Miovski saying, and it's so funny because see the amount of people in our fan base that go, aye, shite, he's this and that. Come on, listen. Bad time at Girona, right? But see, for £2.6 million, I'm not saying he's a solution, I'm not saying he's the answer, but would I rather have Miovski as my second, third, or even fourth choice striker at Celtic over, no offence, Johnny Kenny, Adam Idah, and Shin Yamada? Untested, of course, still could prove me wrong. The answer's yes for me, Paddy.
Listen, I'm in the same boat. We spoke about it before. If anybody can score 25 goals playing for an Aberdeen side, they can score 40 playing at Celtic or Rangers. And I say that because you look at the amount of chances that you get playing for Celtic or Rangers, the amount of balls that you put in that box. That laddie, when you think back to the January game, just after we had the chance to buy him actually, and we were playing against Aberdeen, and I came out, I was on that chat, and I said, listen guys, he'll score against us. He will come out there and he will score, and yeah, bang on he was. He went in and he made Carter Vickers look like an absolute mug. He pushed him out the way and he was clean through and goal and scored it. We did end up coming back in that game and beating Aberdeen, but it just shows he's one of these guys. I think he's a good signing. I think he could do a job for them. He's one of the guys as well. You don't need to play the ball up to him. So the Route 1 football that they play might not be attractive on the eye, but it'll suit players like him. Just pump the ball up to him. He's going to be quite happy coming up against Scales and Carter Vickers, isn't he? And it's frustrating because it's one of the guys that we had highlighted. We were looking at. So yeah.
I mean, here's the thing, Paddy. As I say, let's just look at the speed that they get deals done. And more to the point, let's bring it closer to home. Look at the speed that Swansea City get deals done, or at least move to potentially get deals done. The Adam Idah thing came out of nowhere. Now, all the reports are saying that this wasn't, incited by the club, wasn't incited by the player's agent. It was literally Swansea like that, by we want him. Out of nowhere, right? Out of nowhere, and as quick as you like, boom, down there, right? Now, surprisingly quick for us. We're thinking, wow, I can't believe how quick this is moving. Guys down there is doing a medical. And as I say, everything's in place. Now, again, no disrespect to Swansea City, but come on, fuck, Swansea City. They can make a decision and go, aye, we want him, make it happen, boom. And all right, backtrack, we do all that sort of embarrassing stuff. But the principle, again, remains. We go, oh, Dolberg, but I quite like that. What's that? 8 million. 6.7? 6.7? Tell me your fee. You know what I mean? Nah, no into it. 7? Nah. 7.2? Yeah, fucking hell, come on. Seriously.
I know. Get the thing. A lot of money.
The Dolberg thing is turning. Mönchengladbach circling. I wouldn't be surprised if we get to fucking tomorrow night, Monday afternoon, we're told that he's away to Mönchengladbach and Celtic a run, but by somebody, who's it going to be? Right. I mean, seriously, come on.
I said this, we've been doing business, we've been doing it the exact same way for such a long time, and we'll end up making a panic buy again and paying over the odds. Hopefully we get rid of Idah. We claim back some of the 9 million that we lost on him. Guy scored the cup final, he gave us a cup final goal, so we'll take 2 million off his fee for that. That's absolutely fine. But yeah, you look at it, you're getting 7 million back in for him. So invest that, put that in. Somebody at Dolberg's quality. I seen the video that you done of him, the breakdown, Steve, on it. And do you know what? It was brilliant to see how excited you were about a player of his calibre actually coming into Celtic, and it kind of got me sitting thinking, yeah, this is the kind of quality that we should be going for.
Do you know, sorry to jump in that, whilst you're on that thought, because obviously you're going to give us your thoughts on it. I find it interesting now, again, I am not here, and we are not here, whether it's Paddy, Paul, anybody that appears on the channel, Joe, we're not here to say we're right, you're wrong. But I was really surprised at some of the comments in that video I done, where I mentioned a comment and I says that he could be better than Giakoumakis, Kyogo, basically any of the new strikers. And in terms of profile, he's aged 27 going to 28, the 55 caps for Norway, the goals to boot, playing at the likes of, top European leagues and scoring everywhere he goes. That is the stature, the presence, the type of player we should be going for. And there was a couple of people there that were telling, and I quote, "You are talking shite. How are they going to be better than, for example, Kyogo?" Right? Now, no offense to Kyogo, right? Or how do you know he has the quality that he possesses? Well, I'm sorry, but the guy has played like near enough 26,000 minutes of football in all the top leagues, or a lot of top leagues, Holland, etc., etc. Internationalist. Is he scoring like every second game? No, of course he hasn't. But over the piece is exactly what we need. Now, I understand some of the concern to say, well, Celtic pay 20 or £8 million, sorry, for 27 going 28-year-old. Probably not. But the point I made there was that regardless, what is the tenure of Celtic's players' time at Celtic? 2 seasons.
Yeah.
30 when he leaves. Most players are playing to their 34, right? And see if he comes to Celtic and scores a shit barrel load of goals for 2 seasons in a row, guess what? You will still sell him. And see if you can sell an Adam Idah, albeit he's young, he's lukewarm and nearly recoup all your money. Guess what? Buy somebody for 8 million and you will probably get close to that. Maybe even exactly that or more if he scores a shovel load of goals, which I fully believe he would.
Yeah, I think Dolberg's one of the ones that would come in and hold his value. Decent enough calibre, like you said, played all over the world. Some of the best leagues, and he's done it there. So he's a far better option than what we have. And I think that we need to start looking at that kind of type of player. Like you say, Steve, 27 is a great age for a footballer. It's one of the ones that you bring in guys at that age. They've been about, they know what it's about. They're not young, they're not kind of going to get too eager to impress and be chasing shadows and stuff. Yeah, listen, he's perfect. That's what you want. Somebody of that stature, somebody of that age group that knows what it's about. He's an adult. He knows the game. Do you know what I mean? He knows the game inside out. He knows what to do. He played in Europe. He's been at big clubs. You know what I mean? He's got Champions League football in there as well. It's a cracking option. And obviously, watching your video with it, it was brilliant. Do you know what I mean? Because it was nice to see about.
Listen, can I jump in? I'm sorry. Easy. You have now outed yourself as a Rangers supporter. So, see if you're not, I apologise, but I am still going to remove you because I thought the last time you were kind of taking the piss, right?
Leave him in. He's good.
Right. Okay, Paddy's made an executive decision. See, this is how a boardroom should run, right? So, but come on. I believe that he's an infiltrator, and that's fine. We welcome it. He's been clean since he's been in the chat, but come on. But I ain't going to lie.
He was spot on about Idah.
I wouldn't be surprised if we would score, so I'll give you that. Sorry, Paddy, continue.
I know, I was saying Easy was spot on with Idah.
Well, we didn't get pumped. I mean, we get beat. Oh, come on.
I know, but yeah. But listen, let's have a wee look at what team we're going to be putting out there and how we're going to get this over the line, because if we put them to the sword tomorrow, it's got to be curtains for the manager. The fans will be singing that song that they've been singing at half time every single game.
Or the big boo one.
That one. Yeah, it's a good tune. So I want to hear that ringing out round Ibrox.
So Paddy, here's the thing. Let's firstly then, if it is we always do, we'll talk about what we think we're going to do. But let's also talk about what we think Rangers are going to do, because I know you'll say, "Oh, Celtic podcast, talk about Rangers, you're obsessed," right? I think it paints a picture, because it is important to speak about the opposition, right? It's choppy waters for Rangers at this moment in time.
Yes.
Now we see them, and that's by putting it lightly. The results haven't been great, and again, I come back to their policy of signing. see them getting humped off of Bruges. That doesn't happen if they don't sign the players. I mean, let's be honest, right? They punched 2 rounds above what they should have done. Even though they get put out the same stage as us, they don't get to that, in my opinion, if they don't have the players around the door. So that's at least... And people laugh and say, oh, well, it's the same fucking situation, Steve. What are you talking about? My point is they wouldn't have achieved that. So that shows the importance of why you have to buy early. And probably we go through, if we do what they do and have, even anywhere, I think they like 8 players when they played the games. If we even have a half of that or a third of that, we still probably get through against Kairat, right? We do. So shows you they're doing something right in terms of getting players in, and that is allowing them. But domestically, they look like a shambles. The fans are turning, the boos are ringing out, there's infighting. There's Idah man who's saying, I'm injured, pal, and then he scores 2 goals a night. I mean, pull the other one, mate, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They've got Raskin, who I've been following the story because I think you've just got to keep an eye on the opposition, and it looks as if he's toast, right? It's went full Strelech, who's, by the way, is going to Borough. There's another one for you, Paddy.
I know.
But Da supporter FC's coming out and saying stuff about how he's not happy, right? So there's infighting. Apparently him, Raskin and Tav have been told find a new club, right? They are at turmoil. And I will say it again, and it's just our bloody luck. I'll say it, I'll be bold. For either manager tomorrow, losing badly is a sackable offence. I'm sorry, I've got to say it. It's a sackable offence because they are terrible. And if you can't take that on, then aye, it's a bad day. If we get beat after that, it's every bit as bad as Kairat. If they get beat as expected, he needs to go.
Yeah, I think that's it. It plays into their hands. If they win, it's like you said before on here, putting a plaster over an axe wound. Because listen, they're in no fit state. You just need to look at that. Listen, they're undefeated in the league. 3 games, 3 points. They've done well. But I think going into this game, I want to see Celtic bury them. I really do. Again, I want to see absolute carnage here. I want us to go in there and put on a show for the fans because, by God, we deserve it. We deserve a performance for that team because, listen, with people head all the way out to Kairat, right at the border of China, with fans head all the way out there to sit and watch our draws. Imagine that flight the way home, that would have been horrible.
Yeah.
It's horrible getting the bus home for Ross County when you've had a 1-0 defeat or something. Imagine flying home for Kairat after getting the Champions League. That must have been absolutely horrific. But going into this, I want this to be our comeback. We go in there tomorrow and we put on a performance and we show that we are the dominant force in Scotland. Yes, you can go out and buy whoever you want. We'll beat you what we've got just now and then we'll strengthen.
Here's a question for you. See, in terms of the opposition, there's no doubt in my mind that, infighting aside, right, their manager... Now, I had a conversation with a good mate, Steve, if he's watching, the other day about this, and he says to me, as I just says, it's a sackable offence for either manager, whether you buy into that or not, right? It's a sackable offence. And I says to him, despite me just repeating that, I says, I don't think Rangers sack their manager if they lose.
No, they can't afford it again. It's one of the ones, isn't
it? And he says to me, do you buy into all that stuff that I've sat down with the board and they believe in me and all this kind of stuff, right? And I says, well, I think that the Americans, the owners, are going to be... And I called this for day one when it was the rumours. I says, I think it's going to be different gravy for them. I says, I think it's going to be a Fergus McCann-esque situation where no means no, and I'm putting my foot down means my foot's down. I think that they will cut the cloth, they will make the decisions, and they will not bow to fan noise. That's just my take on it, right? I might be wrong, but that's what I think. But I think that tomorrow, he's been sat down probably and told, you must win this, but definitely not lose it. Do you think that we're going to see Russell Martin do something? I know we'll get on the Celtic bit, but I want to paint the picture because how they react will ultimately decide what we might do. Now, people say play our game and that's it, but we've seen that ignorance where we just do our plan A, and if it doesn't go well, they plan A a bit better, right? I genuinely believe that how they set up might influence us, and I'd like to see a curveball. Because do you think that we will see Russell Martin bend at the knee and do what he needs to do to try and get a result? And by that, guess what? I'm going to say this term I always use: staunch their way to victory. Load that midfield. Now, Raskin's the one that might not happen, but I'm talking Raskin, Diamande, I'm talking, what's his face, the sleepy lion for the Wizard of Oz, Baron. I'm talking guys like, Rothwell. Just pack out the midfield, make it sticky, because 9 on 10 times, if you give our midfield problems, you give Celtic problems.
Yeah, I think they'll start with quite a few of them. Actually, I think Barn will be in there. I think the young laddie Cameron, he looks like a decent wee player. Although he plays with them, a good prospect for Scotland. He looks like he's a decent young player coming through the ranks. The lad Rothwell, I hope he plays. He's been an absolute liability, so I would be quite happy for him to start in there. I can see it being the old 4-3-3 for them as well. I think he's going to try and matches. I think he's stupid enough to do that, and try and go player for player. And I think if he does, then it'll play into your hands.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. So let's forget them then, right? How does Celtic line up now? I will give you the opportunity, because we were discussing the lineup, and I believe you had a theory on what you think the lineup might be.
Yes.
So tell me what you sent into the group that you thought was going to be the lineup. This is, of course, just Paddy's exclusive thoughts on the lineup. He sends it in and says, "This is what I think," and I found it. I found it not surprising. I found it expected.
I would take it. Obviously, I think Kasper Schmeichel's going to start 9 goals. I would love to see, since I will get a chance again, but I still think Kasper is the number one striker, and I think obviously big games like this, you've got to go with Kasper. So then start left back, we'll go Kieran Tierney. You'll have Liam Scales and Cameron Carter-Vickers. I think with curveball in there, you have Sarachi starting over Tony Ralston. I just think that.
And on that, I know you put that in, and I threw it back, and I says he's played little time on the pitch. Where does your belief in putting him in over Ralston?
So is Tony Ralston, though. Tony Ralston's been a bit part player. Yes, he's been training with Celtic, but he's again been a bit part player, because if Alistair Johnson's fit, then Tony Ralston doesn't start.
Mm-hmm.
It's as simple as that. I mean, Tony Ralston's only really came in because Alistair Johnson's been out injured. So if we're bringing in a player of Sarachi's quality, where we've heard all these stories that he's apparently incredible going forward, he's got great delivery, can defend a bit, but I mean, you really do want your right backs to be defensive as well. But listen, going forward, that's the kind of way we play now. So I think he'll start with him. We'll go middle of the park. I think he'll start with Callum McGregor, Rio Hatate, and Arnie Engels in there.
That's. I mean, see, to be fair, sorry to jump in. I think it sounds like a big call, but I don't see. I don't see it being a big call. I think that, I think that Bernardo's not been in it enough, and I just think that, as much as I really do like McCown, we talk about Hatate being high risk and losing the ball a lot. McCown does it a lot and all, so you can't have two guys that are doing it.
Yeah, exactly, mate. That's it. And then I think Nygren deserves his place as well, so I think Nygren will start out on the right. I think we'll have Balakwisha on the left and Izameda through the middle.
Yep.
Just to cause extra chaos.
Let us know what your thoughts are in there in the comments. So on that,
they're pretty much very similar. He's went for Ralston.
See, we spoke about earlier then, Paddy. You went for Maeda through the middle. I think that writes itself. I think that needs to be. What then is the status, if any, of Adam Idah? And this is how, again, we so often swear for dramatic effect on this channel. What the fuck does it mean for Idah? I mean, what is the fucking point? Right? Now, I might be wrong here. He's still Celtic's player. He's still our toy to play with, right? Whether we want to start him, whether we want to bring him on for 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 2 minutes, any minutes, right? can he be anywhere near that fucking pitch tomorrow? I mean, let's be honest here. Come on, let's be fucking real here.
I think he makes the bench. Right? He's going to be on the bench, and if we are at the stage where it's 0-0, 65 minutes in, I think it comes on. I think at that point, if we're 3-0 up, he stays off. Listen, he's been. I totally agree with that. If your head's already been turned, you know what it's like. We had it previously. Players being linked to other clubs and the head turns, and you just see a dip in form. We don't want that. You can't start this guy. He's been down there. He's had his head turned. He knows he's moving on. So I think he will be on the bench and he'll be used as an impact player if we do need it. And I think you've got to do that with somebody like that. But if we are winning at that stage at the 65th minute mark, then I think it's a different story. You don't bring him on. I think you either go with Yamada or Kenny.
Yeah. And this is the thing, it comes back to, as I said, I've had a chat with some of our regular followers, and the picture looks so much more blurry for me getting into this because of the wee grenade that was the Idah move. Now, listen, you know what we think of Idah, right? Decent returns, and I think he earned these stripes, he earned his fee, he earned his move after the loan. But he's literally just a body. He's there by design. See, if he wasn't doing this Swansea thing, would I think, oh my God, we've got this great tool that we can throw on the pitch and do something? No, I still wouldn't have that faith. But it's now just like, what does that even mean? Because we're going to start Idah through the middle. To that end, based on what you've said, I agree with the formation. You've got to hope that you take them early and you get a couple of goals ahead, 1-2 goals, because there will be the inevitable drop-off when that comes. There will be. You're looking at Kenny, you're looking at Shin. I've had people tell me all week and all day about, I can't write off Kenny and Shin, blah, 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 yada, 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 because I was talking with the Miovski thing. But I'm like, I understand and I hope they do well, but they're literally like, they're like that. They're shots in the dark. Are you trying to... And this is the thing, see, as much as I hope these guys kick on and do well, see if Celtic don't go and sign one, maybe even two good, proven track record strikers, right? See, all these people are telling me that Shin and Kenny are amazing. Now, I hope I'm wrong, but I would bet good money that come January, more often than not, that they are going to be wrong, and they'll go say, so we should fucking sign people in the summer because they're no good enough.
I know.
You know what I mean, Paddy? Come on.
Yeah, listen, we've seen patches from these guys, and to be honest, I don't think that there's been much ambition shown from either of them. Shin looks like he's got a bit of turn of pace about him. I know you've done a video the other night, Steve, when you say to it, tell me about a player, what's he good at? Oh, he's rapid.
Well, and you know, it's funny, Jay said it there, with you know, you've completely omitted Yang for your lineup. He's another guy we've not even mentioned about that's going to Birmingham. I'll drive him down, right? I'll drive him down. But see this, Yang's rapid, Yang's this and that. See if you tell me a player's signing and the only first thing you tell me is how fast he is, he's probably shite, right? See if he's not
get it. I understand that, but going in there, listen, we've seen wee bits for Yang, not for Yang, sorry, for Yamada. Yamada for me can finish. We've seen that every time he's had a chance, he's pretty much put it in the back of the net. He's been offside nearly every time he's done it though, which for me is an issue. And we had that issue with Yang at the very start as well. He seemed to do quite a lot, but he was always getting caught offside. So, the Johnny Kenny thing. Listen, Johnny Kenny, we know he can finish. He's scored a goal now as well, which I think is always good, especially if you're a striker. It's in your job description basically. So, listen, he's got a goal. Could that give him the boost?
See, just whilst I'm on it, because I obviously we mentioned that, and Alan's perfectly right, as he says, and I've mentioned this, I'll keep saying, see all the strikers, I think Shin's an unknown quantity, right? He's not had enough game time to really pass judgment on him. You could say Kenny's not had that either, right? But what I have seen of Kenny, I think he's got great energy, and I just don't think he's quite got the killer touch. I think he's a guy who has many different attributes. He works hard, he digs in, he joins up the play, he's got a good range of passing. He's a foil rather than the striker, if that makes sense. That's for me. Now, when I look at Shin, 130 career appearances, 37 goals, 9 assists, he scores roughly about 3.5 games per goal, right? Now, the one thing that I would say about that is and I actually posted a reply about it, because I was having a back and forward with somebody about that. He scores 20 goals, right, in the J League, and I was told about how that's a great return, right? But then you actually look at his return after that one season, and it's dog meat, right?
Aye.
You look at his return before that season, and it's dog meat.
But it was Kyogo, not the same.
Roughly, but he had more game time under, and that's the thing. It's potential, but they're
Yeah.
roughly the same age. They are roughly the same age, but when you look at it, it's not. It's not like it's just not bowling me over to
Yeah.
suddenly have this blind faith that
But
you don't.
that's how going into this game. Then we've got to look at the positive thing. The positive that we're going into this game is that we're going to get Negrin playing on the right, where we know he's got a fantastic delivery. Hopefully, him and Engels can get the corners past the first man, as they didn't seem to be able to do against Kyrat. But we're looking
So,
for good
so there
deliveries.
it is. There it is. I found that Shin 2 seasons ago. Yeah, then 4 goals. 4 goals with 0 assists. The following season. But then the season before his purple patch, 6 goals and 1 assist. I mean, he's
I
had
know.
a good patch. He's had a good season. And I understand that Kenny done well at Shamrock Rovers and he scored well in
Scored the
the
Conference League and
conference. And
stuff as
fair
well,
play. I
didn't he?
thought, yeah, there's a guy. See out the two of them, I have more belief in Johnny Kenny than Shin Yamada.
Aye.
That's just me. And I hope to God that I'm proven wrong, but I just can't buy into this line
That
faith.
strengthens the argument then, Steve, that we really, really do need to bring in another striker, because at the minute, Diza Maida's our best striker and he's a winger. So
Yeah.
it's as simple as that. Going into this, listen, you can argue about it as much as they want, but if he starts anybody other than Dyson up front, then the fans are going to be raging about it. Let me know in the chat if you don't agree there. If you think
And strange enough, saying for example, Shin's quality, I'm
hope
not doubting. Again, similarly, what I say with Kenny,
based on what?
I like the movement. I like the purpose. I like the anticipation. And again, it's such a small sample size. But my underlying point was, because this all was bred out of me saying, why did Celtic not look at Miovski, a guy who we offered 4 million for a couple of seasons ago, a season and a half ago in January? Why didn't we revisit that? Now, people say, oh, he's hardly the quality and this and that, right? But look at his record over the past 3 seasons versus Shins. It is better. But the underlying point is part of his 3 years is in a league that he would be playing in. Now, I will again say, is he the solution or the answer? No, he's neither. But as a good option as your third choice, maybe even your second choice striker, or somebody that's in the pool of players that can work their way up for £2.6 million, he has, in my opinion, better credentials as a striker, as a known entity, and that's the important thing, a known entity, than Shin Yamada. Now, I hope Shin Yamada kicks on, but I'm getting told how good he is, but I'm like, based on what? Show me. And that's not to say Strange Log's wrong, and I hope I see a lot of quality in him, and I see a lot of quality in Idah. But I'm not talking about Miovski as being the first choice striker. I'm talking about as being, who would you rather have? Miovski that you know a lot about, or here's this random guy we got for J League, you into that? Or do you know what I mean? That's what I'm getting at. It's about, sometimes it's better to know something that you've seen than something you don't. And that's why we've spoken about it, Paddy. Guys like Deutsch, guys like Hickey, guys like Ferguson when he was at Aberdeen, guys like Lennon Miller. People might not like these guys, but they have proven during their time that they can do what you need them to do. The bread and butter stuff, they can do it. Does that level us up for the next phase? No, it doesn't. But as someone in your squad, rather that than some of the random punts that we've done over the years, mate.
Yeah.
Celtic didn't get this transfer window wrong, put it that way.
Yeah, we have. And what Dan said in there, no more potential. We don't want the potential players. We want players in that are proven. 100% I'm getting that. So, just, mate, it's frustrating. We're looking at this game. We're now 4 games in to the season. We've been kicked out of the Champions League. We're looking forward now to the Europa League and coming up against, I was going to say our rivals, we're coming up against the teams across the city that we always love to beat. and we don't have a preferred striker as an option. We don't have anyone basically in that spot other than Dyson and Idah, and Dyson's having to play on the wing because we don't have any cover there. So we're going into this game, yes, we are in a depleted squad, but listen, they've been really, really poor. So going into this, I'm not confident, but I think we've got enough in the tank to do them. I really do.
Do you have any concerns? I'll bring this up. I've saved some comments with regards to it. I think that, I think we'll get Balikwisha. I think we'll get Sarashi tomorrow involved at some stage. I think we need to play Balikwisha. He's been playing for Antwerp. He's fit. He's ready to roll. Get him in. Yep, he starts. You've said Sarashi, I don't know, I think he'll feature at some point, but again, we might get like a Juranovic style introduction, which just launched in, have someone at me, get yourself
involved. Johnson as well. Yeah.
Yep, exactly, so we might do that, but they're probably going to play Miovski, because they are probably going to play Miovski, right, because Danilo's no cutting it, Dessers looks out the way, Egerman's away, and it'll be interesting because he's coming off a sort of misstep over at Girona, and it's funny, Carter Vickers, he says, made him look like a training cone the last time that he was around. And that is one thing that I've said, and I've said in the past 2 videos, there's a lot of guys in our squad that really need to up their game, and it's established guys. We always call him Cameron Carter Slippers and say, oh, he makes it look easy, but I actually believe that he's a guy that is bought into his own press. He's bought into his own reputation of, I make it look easy, but he's no longer dossing about the park because he's making it look easy. He's just dossing around the fucking park, right? The Carter Vickers, the killer, the animal, the guy that was there that made it look simple is just making it look lazy at the moment. And yes, Miovski, he's roughed up guys like Scales, he's roughed up guys like CCV before. They will go, and again, it comes back to it, if they play Russell Martin ball and they try to do what they're doing, I think it nullifies them. But if they go direct and punt at them, Celtic might have a problem, mate.
Yeah, no, that's what I said before, and I was talking to a couple of Rangers fans on here, and I said that I fully expect Miovski to start and for Rangers to go for the Route 1 football, because we always seem to get caught out at the back. We always seem to get caught out there with the long ball over. And listen, Scales has been our best player in the league and in Europe and everything. He's been the most adaptable player in that team. Let's be perfectly honest about it. There's not been anybody else. Carter Vickers, every time he gets the ball, looks a bit scared to have it. When the ball's getting passed into him, I've seen it like 2 or 3 times now when he's scuffed it, he's went to control it and it's went under his foot.
Based on what? I'm sorry for jumping. I'm just based on what? Tell me, Strangelove, show your work and I'll bring it up.
He's said up the top there, he's got a good personality and football knowledge. I've got a good personality and football knowledge, but I can't play football.
We've got decent football knowledge as well. Everybody can have a great football knowledge, and we say education, that's not based on what? Like, he's younger. Well, is he younger than Miovski? I don't know off the top of my head, but based on what? This is what I'm saying. I'm not saying to say you're wrong. I'm not attacking you, Strangelove, because I really appreciate your support and you put in some great inputs, but this is what I'm talking about earlier on. We just have people just chuck it out blind faith and tell me how good Kenny are and tell me how good Shin are. And it's easy, and I've seen that there's a groundswell in our support that are turning around saying Miovski's shit. Why? Just because he signed for Rangers. There's no other reason other than he signed for Rangers. Let's be real here.
Exactly.
Anyway, we move on. Sorry, I just wanted to bring that in because I'm just trying to catch some of the comments because we're talking about it.
Yeah.
Miovski could be the second coming, could be garbage. The tough second album, to use a musical term, could be garbage for him, right? And it could be 2 seasons of red hotness, and then he moved on and he's lost his mojo. I hope it is, but at the same time, I think he poses a more potent threat for them than the options that we are looking at, because Adam Idah's completely out of the picture.
Yeah, he totally is. I'd love to see Shin come on against them. And
I won't prove wrong, mate. I want to do that.
Bang on. I really, really would. I think he's got the option. He's fast. He's fast. He's a quick player. But again, like playing on that line, he plays a similar role to what Kyogo did. And somebody said that in the chat as well, and I totally agree with it. He tries to play on the shoulder. And that's why he keeps getting caught out offside all the time. That kind of Thierry Henry role. Remember, he used to just run right across the line, and the ball would play in and bang, he was away. Shin's trying to do that, and he's got the pace to do it, as Kyogo did as well before him. And that's something it's brilliant if you can pull it off. But we've not seen it pulled off yet. We've not seen him actually do that. We've not seen too much of him. But where do you throw him in? Do you throw him into a game like this? Not a chance. Yeah. That's why I'm fully confident that we start up front.
And it's hard. And just to finish off, people are asking, Plunge saying, why are we talking about Miovski, plays for Rangers? We're talking about Miovski, one, because he is possibly going to be their biggest threat tomorrow. That's it. He's going to be our biggest attacking threat. He's a new signing for them, and also because he's someone that we were interested in before. And in a period where we seem to be swirling and circling and being indecisive, you've got to ask yourself, at that level of cheapness, why didn't we get ourselves involved? So that's why we're talking about it. And again, people are turning around and saying, like, so I see the comments following up to that and sort of saying, like, Shins has scored a higher level than Miovski. Well, he hasn't, because in the past season, Miovski scored something like 5 goals in the Spanish league, which is a higher league. Crap return on his game time, but it's a higher league. And thank you to be Mitch74 for the donation to the channel. Hail indeed. Absolutely. Thanks for tuning in. Hit the subscribe if you haven't already. Get yourself involved. But Paddy, let's kind of bring it all home and wrap it up. Celtic doing Celtic things. Going to Ibrox, a team in turmoil. A team that could be all change. It could be some fresh faces in there, and even if it is Miovski, or even if it is whatever else that they've brought in, they've played some might have played. Miovski might have played against Rangers. I'm just using him because the focal point. But he's not played against Celtic for Rangers. It's different. The expectancy levels are through the roof. That idea of playing with freedom is out the roof. Out the window, out the window. You've got guys like Rothwell. They're going to have about 6, maybe 7 guys, Paddy, that have never played in this fixture at all. What advantage, if any, does that give Celtic?
Again, it can go either way for you when you look at that. Players can be up for it. Some players, listen, you've played all over the place. You've played in derbies and stuff before. They can come in there and thrive in a situation like that, or we've seen it previously, and some players can come in and just fold. So it's one of them. Listen, it can go either way. How many times have we went into games like this and we've been absolutely flying, and they've been really struggling, and then the result ends up not what you would expect. They say anything can happen in a Glasgow Derby, and I'm fully under the assumption that that's the case. I'm not thinking we're going to get beat. I think we will win. I'll stick my prediction in there. I think we'll probably 3-2 to Celtic. I think we'll get a nice wee late winner. Hopefully somebody like Shin Yamada off the bench.
It's funny, Paddy. It's funny, isn't it? Because I hate saying it, because it's every cliche in the book, right? See, for me, this game feels like the ultimate close your eyes, chuck something at the wall and wonder what's happening, right? I can see all the eventualities happening here. All the pressure they're under, all the disbelief. They seem, apart from Bruce, of course, they seem to get up for the bigger games. I could envisage them scoring early and us doing Celtic things and them winning. I could also envisage us scoring early and hammering them. I could also envisage a battle like who's less shite, and then it's like 2-3 each draw, or just nullifying each other and none. And that is literally the definition he's sitting on the fence. Every single option and outcome of this game that you throw at me, I could turn around and go, I could see that happening. Normally you can go, that'll not happen, that will not get hammered, or there'll not be a draw, or it's not going to be nothing each. I honestly don't know. This is the first time in a long time I genuinely don't know what to expect.
Yeah, it's one of the games that you do say all the time, it can go either way, so I'm confident we've got enough in the tank to beat them. And I just hope we go out there and we get the start that we've been talking about. We get on them for the get-go. We've got a point to prove as well. Do you know what I mean? We've been the fans have been let down. We really have been let down at Kyrat, and Callum knows that. So hopefully he'll have the players up for it. Hopefully he can get them all G'd up. But if you need G'd up for a Glasgow Derby, especially going away to their stadium, then you shouldn't be at the club. Basically.
Do you know there's a lot of positivity coming in, and I like that. There's a lot of people are going for wins, are going for 3-1s, are going for 2-0s.
So I really hope so.
A wee two each in there, and again, I could probably see that. I agree with that's just a great point, and it's the most cliche in the book.
Yeah.
Score first, but the reason I say that is see anytime that I have watched Rangers, right? Even these European games and the games domestically, see when they go behind, see when the team are controlling and the fans will inevitably be on their case and there'll be a lot of booing and stuff like that, right? There will be, because we've heard that. We've heard the fan forums, we've heard them on the radio, we've heard them on their podcasts and so on and so forth. There will be tension in the air. The expectancy will be huge, right? If Celtic can at least, they don't need to necessarily be scoring immediately, but see if Celtic are controlling the game, that will start to eat in. I think if Celtic can get their foot in the ball and be tidy, I always say the first 15 minutes are huge and I'll never divert for that. If Celtic score, the heads will go down. However, and this is the one thing, see usually when they score, the tails go up and they get a wee burst of energy. And that's what Celtic need to avoid.
Yeah.
They cannot allow them to score. They cannot allow them to score. Not first, not to equalise. They cannot allow them to score because that's when they start to get their backs up. That's when they get their tails up and they get a wee slight spring in their step. Stop them scoring and the misery continues. That's what I've noticed watching them.
Yeah, listen, see if we get an early goal and we can hold on to it. If you get to half time and they're getting beat, the boos will ring out around that stadium like nothing else you've ever heard. And if we get 2 goals or 3 goals up, it's going to be chaos. The fans are struggling. They really are. I mean, even the ones I spoke to on here, they're kind of talking, oh, we're going to watch it from behind the couch. They're going to be hands covering the eyes and stuff. But then there's a few other ones that are quite confident as well. That they can't play any worse, basically, is their way of looking at it. So I think they're going to be up for it. They're going to come at us. And I think that'll be their downfall. I've said it so many times. Teams that come in and they sit in at Celtic Park and they sit in against us and the old flat back 10 formation that I speak about all the time, Steve. I don't think Rangers are going to play anything like that. I think they're going to come at us and I think we'll catch them out because we've got the pace, especially Dyson up front. I think Brown Warrior says he wants to see him come in with a shaved head, go full taking on them. I like that. That's a cracking plan. I'd love to see Dyson turn up with more of a full skin head again and just go for it. Go absolute chaos.
No, we can't. Listen, I've said it before. No hair, no flair.
Yeah,
Dyson can't do it, right? He can't do it, but whatever. I'll take it. But just to finish up, Paddy, I'll ask you, I always ask you, you've given me your team lineup. You need to give me a score, Paddy. You need to do it.
3-2 Celtic.
Go first.
Yeah.
You're going to put your money where your mouth is and give me those goal scorers.
Rio Hatate. Dyson Idah. And an Army Engels penalty.
Mate, right, okay, guys. See if I could reach through the screen and then check your temperature. You honestly think there's going to be a penalty Ibrox? Are you?
Army Engels isn't going to score for anything other than a penalty, so I think he'll get on the score sheet. So
I'm trying to say, do you believe the Brotherhood are going to give a penalty Ibrox? I mean,
yes, I do. I think we'll get a penalty more. I think that'll be the final nail in their coffin.
I think that would be the most definite.
And then he'll freeze over it.
Penalty Ibrox would be absolute madness. Yes, I listen. I'm going to say I think it'll be tasty. I think that there's going to be I think there's going to be a penalty. I think there's going to be a man sent off. I can see that. I can see it being a bit of madness, but I'm going to be a bit more tentative in my approach. I think that Celtic will win, but I think 2-1. I think it's going to be, as I say, 2 bald men fighting over a comb. I think it'll be a bore fest, and then there'll be a wee sporadic burst of energy where a couple of goals come in.
Yeah.
Just don't lose. That's all I'll say. Just don't lose.
Yeah, that's it, definitely, mate. And I see Terry's reporting there as well. Celtic have failed to reach an agreement for Dolberg. That's just going to come across Sky. And again, listen, it is what it is. It's one of the ones. Are we surprised? Probably not. Do you know what I mean?
Well, there you go. Look forward to another season of Adam Idah.
Yeah, exactly. Adam, he didn't know he's Stevie Welsh back as well, just to go for it. Might as well bring back in Scott Bain and all, make a full squad of it, you know what I mean?
Yes, anyway, listen, thank you very much to every single person that's tuned in. I think at top end we're 180. Incredible for just after 12 o'clock. But Paddy, that shows you how much the juices are running in the mouths of the fans. Everybody, it whets the appetite, doesn't it? It just hits you differently. And I just hate to say it, but we're due a win in one of these, Paddy. When's the last time we spoke like that? We're due a win.
Well, I know, exactly. And you look at the previous ones against Barry, they didn't really matter. They were games for nothing, really. So they said, but of course it's a Glasgow Derby, you want to win every single one of them. You really, really do. I fully expect us to go out there and put on a show. I'd love to be as confident as I usually am and go 4-0. We're going to smash them, we're going to do this. I would love it. I would absolutely be over the moon if we go out there and put them to the sword and absolutely demolish them. But listen, see, as long as we get a win, I don't care if it's 1-0 and it comes off a Jack Butland's arse. I couldn't care less. I'll take it. As long as we go to the end of tomorrow night 9 points ahead of them, fantastic.
Yep.
Couldn't ask for a better start.
Well, Paddy, it's late o'clock. I believe you're getting up mega early because you have bought some credit in the bank to watch the game.
Yeah.
I hope it's worth it, mate. Snake Mountain awaits tomorrow. I would say as normal, there is nothing to fear here, but it's important. If ever there was a game to bounce back from disappointment, it is a Glasgow Derby. If ever there was a game to ram it down the throats, put on the style and pile on the misery, it is tomorrow. Yeah. I will take any result that isn't a loss tomorrow. Anything that's plus points is positive for Celtic, but I would absolutely love for us to get one of these over the line. As ridiculous as that sounds with our domestic dominance, and flip it. They are down and out. We can't let them start. We need to take care of them early. We need to finish them off before they can get any wind in their sails. We need to kick them where they're down and all those other cliches. Paddy, thanks for joining me, mate. Get yourself down to bed if you can. Enjoy the game when it comes, and hopefully we'll be sitting here and talking about a good victory at the end of it. Thanks to everybody that stayed and joined us tonight. Thanks for the donations to the channel. We greatly appreciate it. If you're new, hit the subscribe, cost you nothing. I'll come back tomorrow. I'll pop on for a wee half an hour once we know the team and give my thoughts on that. And then, of course, after the event, win, lose or draw, we are here, Paddy, and we're always here, and we'll be here to talk about it. So until next time, take care of yourself, and Paddy, you can send it home, brother.
As always, guys, hail, hail.
See you later.